Assalamualaikum and good afternoon and welcome to this special global report. I am Muhammad Faiz Mizan, bring your today manufacture. We are return our focus to the deepening economic crisis in Lebanon. The nation once proudly referred to as the Paris of the Middle East is currently grappling with one of the most severe economic collapses in modern history. Skyrocketing inflation, coupled with staggering employment rates, has completely paralyzed the country's domestic system. The crisis isn't just destroyed purchasing power, it is fracturing the very social fabric of the nation as a whole. In this special broadcast, we will decide just how much longer the country's exciting economic framework it can truly hold. Taking a closer look at the ground reality, the fundamental issue facing Lebanon today is a systematic failure to maintain currency stability and protect the labor market. The citizens of Lebanon are trapped in a brutal circle of surging living costs, while valuable employment opportunities seem to vanish by the day. The rapid uncontrolled crash of the local currency has effectively wiped out of lifetime saving of the majority of the population. The massive problem here is that delayed action by the government and the central bank have created a dangerous gap between high-level policy and the actual misery being experienced by the people on the street.
To truly unravel this economic entanglement, several pivotal questions must be critically analyzed. First, what are the root causes that have caused Lebanon's current monetary policies to fail so spectacularly in curbing hyperinflation? Furthermore, to what extent can the existing fiscal measures stimulate a labor market that is currently on life support? And finally, what alternative strategies or structural reforms could actually rescue this economy from total collapse? These very questions serve as the definitive compass for our analysis tonight.
Driven by these critical questions, this report is established with a few primary objectives. First, it aims to critically evaluate the effectiveness of current economic policies in addressing both inflation and unemployment in Lebanon. Second, we seek to identify the core gaps and structural weakness within the execution of the nation's financial strategies. And third, this report intends to propose pragmatic, actionable policies recommendations alongside long-term recovery steps that authorities can implement to restore Lebanon's macroeconomic stability.
Turning our attention to the literature and the consensus of global economists, previous studies and academic research heavily indicate that Lebanon's crisis is far more than just a technical economic glitch. Instead, it is deeply intertwined with chronic governance issues and long-standing political instability. A vast body of literature and demonstrates that without comprehensive structural adjustment, any external financial aid or foreign bailouts will only act as a temporary cosmetic fixes. Experts emphasize that the absolute key to recovery lies in rebuilding trust in a banking sector that has currently collapsed to its foundations.
Now let us take a closer look at the actual economic landscape of Lebanon today. Current data shows that the Lebanese pound has shed over 90% of its value, completely paralyzing the purchasing power of ordinary citizens. The annual inflation rate has soared into triple digits, placing Lebanon among the countries with the highest inflation rates in the world. Meanwhile, the private business sector is contracting at a critical rate, while poverty lines are expanding drastically. Today's economic overview paints a grim picture of a nation trapped in a historic and deeply concerning economic dark age.
To ensure that the insight and analysis presented in this report are accurate, objective and well-founded. A strict research methodology was applied. This study relies heavily on secondary data collection, sourced from the official publication of reputable international financial institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, which is IMF, the World Bank, and official macroeconomic data from the Central Bank of Lebanon. A true qualities and quantitative content analysis were conducted to track annual inflation trends and labor statistics, ensuring every conclusion drawn tonight is fully backed by solid empirical evidence.
The core findings and discussion of this report reveal that the economic policies currently deployed in Lebanon are entirely failing to deliver positive results. The dangerous practice of printing excessive money to fund government deficits has only added fuel to the fire of hyperinflation. On the unemployment front, a total lack of incentive for the private sector has triggered massive, unprecedented wave of layoffs, severely impacting the younger demographic. This discussion clearly proves that the existing framework can no longer sustain the weight of the crisis, and a total overhaul is urgently required. In conclusion, Lebanon's economic nightmare will not end without the political courage to enforce swift, comprehensive reform. Saving this economy demands absolute transparency in governance, aggressive debt restructuring, and inclusive social safety nets for its people. It is our hope that the data and analysis shared tonight provide a clear perspective on the viable path out of this catastrophe. That concludes our special global report. I am Nur Alia Shazwani. Thank you for joining us, and until next time.